Abdel Fattah al-Sisi swept to victory in Egypt's recent presidential election. Let's see what the press is saying. An opinion piece by Mamoun Fandi in Ash-Sharq al-Awsat says Egypt's 5 major crises need to be resolved now Egypt has elected a president. He says that they are the crisis of identity in what is a very old culture and society on the brink of fragmentation, a crisis of legitimacy, of which elections are only a part and not a whole, the crisis of geography, the crisis of political participation, and the crisis of the failure of Egypt's public institutions. He adds the Egyptian state has become, especially in the past 30 years, only the state of Cairo, surrounded by resorts which are visited by Cairenes in the winter and summer vacations. This phenomenon is reminiscent of the idea of the old Pasha who visited his ranch in the countryside for a vacation before returning to Cairo. He adds a bank as an intermediary institution gives a piece of plastic value, so how can we build alternative institutions which assure the man in the village that his voice and opinion regarding how the country is governed will reach the ruler in Cairo, and that the services which this ruler has promised will reach their intended recipients? He says we have a silly dialogue about the concept of a deep state, which is taken from the Turkish model and which warns of the army and the intelligence services infiltrating civil service institutions. He adds the final crisis then is the crisis of participation. I do not mean political participation in the sense of the ballot box. I mean creating a feeling of participation in the building of a new state through national projects which make individuals feel they are not just building something for their country, but for themselves. The Huffington Post features an article by Maggie Michael about Sisi's sweeping victory. The article says Sisi has said it is time to work to rebuild the economy after he was officially declared the landslide winner of last week's election, restoring a career military man to the country's top office. The article says thousands celebrated in public squares around the country with cheers, fireworks and pro-military songs after the Election Commission officially announced el-Sisi's victory with nearly 97% of the vote in an election that it said saw a turnout of just over 47%. The article says el-Sisi brings Egypt into a new phase in its tumultuous drama since the 2011 pro-democracy uprising that ousted autocrat Hosni Mubarak after 29 years in power. The article adds el-Sisi now restores a chain of 5 Egyptian presidents of military background since the 1952 coup against the monarchy, with Morsi the sole exception, not counting 2 interim presidents. The article adds already there have been sharp limits put on the right to protest, secular dissenters have been arrested, reports of police abuses have risen, and the president-elect himself has said many rights must take a back seat to restoring stability. The article concludes many Egyptians, even beyond the ranks of revolutionary youth groups, expressed fears during the election that Sisi has put military credibility in line if he fails to deliver promises to solve the nation's ills and will end hopes for greater democracy. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Please join us again tomorrow.